For lead guitar, you're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
You're listening to 1050 ESPN, your home for New York Islanders hockey. WEPN, New York, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Now on SportsCenter all night. More reaction from around the league on DeMar Hamlin's injury.
At the end of the day, we're people, not just players, and I think everybody understands that even more now.
How will the Pelicans fare without Zion?
I think they'll be able to stay afloat. You know, with Zion, it just makes them a contender. But they'll be able to stay afloat and be able to stay where they are.
A look ahead to Week 18 in the NFL.
It's one game to try to get us into the postseason when we're in a total tailspin.
Plus more action from the NBA.
To tie the game, it's good! Gary Trent, with .8 remaining, has tied the game.
This is SportsCenter all night. Here's Jay Reynolds.
There's Week 18. There's the ripple effects if Week 17 is not finished. And, of course, the continued prayers for DeMar Hamlin as doctors continue to take it slowly. The latest on that in 5 minutes. In the NBA Wednesday, the Nets putting a 12-game win streak on the line on the road in Chicago. Brooklyn getting 44 from Kevin Durant. However,
over the midcourt line, Levine, 15 on the clock, and this crowd loves it. They are on their feet after a tough loss at Cleveland. In fact, 2 devastating defeats to the Cavaliers, one here at the United Center, one in Cleveland. They have bounced back and answered the call tonight. A 24 violation on the Bulls, 11 seconds remaining, and the Bulls are about to snap a 12-game win streak by the Brooklyn Nets as Kyrie will walk it over the midcourt line, and this ball game is over. Bulls win! Bulls win! Bulls win! Let's dance! 121-112, Bulls.
Our buddy Chuck Swirsky, 670 the score in Chicago. Bulls 121-112. Kevin Durant, 44 points, his 10th 40-point game with the Nets, joining Kyrie Irving and Vince Carter as the only Nets players within their NBA history to reach double-digit 40-point games. But it comes in a loss. The Nets have their win streak come to an end at 12, third longest win streak in franchise history. They allowed the Bulls to score 53% from the field, fourth highest in a game this season. In Toronto, the Raptors with a furious fourth quarter run against the Bucks.
Shot clock, game clock down to 5-3. Trent to tie the game. It's good! Gary Trent, with .8 remaining, has tied the game at 97. Onions from Trent, and the Toronto Raptors have come back from down 16, down 12, with only 60 seconds to play. They have lost the game at 97. I don't believe it.
Sportsnet 590, the Fan. Raptors outscoring Miami 28-7 down the stretch to finish the fourth quarter and take the Bucks to overtime. They're the first team in the last 25 seasons to force overtime, despite trailing by 15 or more in the final 2 minutes of regulation. As for overtime,
fans raise the volume. Giannis drifts to his right. He's being pressured on the outside by Anunoby. Spins in, into a crowd, passes to the corner. Catch and shoot three for the lead. Grayson Allen sticks it with a cold-blooded three with the nerve of a cat burglar.
That bucket is the difference in the game. Grayson Allen's bucket coming off an assist by Giannis Antetokounmpo. His 10th assist of the game, the call on WTMJ. The Bucks on that bucket win it 104-101 in overtime. Giannis, 30 points, 21 rebounds to go along with those 10 assists. His second triple-double of the season. Our Ross Goldon-Wude caught up with him.
Giannis, you had a 30-point triple-double, and that 10th assist was a kick out to Grayson Allen for the go-ahead bucket. What's the trust you have in your teammates in these clutch moments?
you can't do it by yourself. You got to trust your teammates. You got to make plays for them. Obviously, I've tried to be aggressive. I've tried to get downhill. But at the end of the day, everybody's sucking in, and the guy's open. And that last play, Grayson was wide open. I was able to get him the ball.
Towards the end of regulation, it felt like you guys had the win all locked up, and then they came back with a fury. Where did the letdown happen?
This is the second time we're doing this. We can't put ourselves in that position. We're up 15 with 2 minutes left. They came back, tied the game, played to overtime. But at the end of the day, I think we did a good job keeping our composure, executing in the overtime, finding open spots, defending, and was able to get the win.
Giannis Antetokounmpo scored a career-high 55 points on Tuesday night against Washington. He has 173 points over his last 4 games. Wednesday, he scored 30 in the Bucks' overtime win over Toronto. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. The last time the Cavaliers took the floor on Monday, they got 71 from Donovan Mitchell. 71 from one guy. Wednesday, as a team, they got 90. As a team. But they do beat the Suns, 90-88. The teams combining to score 178 points. That's tied for the third fewest points in a game this season. But for the Cavs, back-to-back games where they've overcome a double-digit halftime deficit. Donovan Mitchell had 20 in the Cavs win. The Suns, meanwhile, 4th straight loss. Pelicans beat the Rockets 119-108. They led 45-22 after the first quarter, and they go on to their 5th consecutive home win. They do it without Zion Williamson, who has a strained hamstring and will miss the next 3 weeks. At least that's what the team has said. ESPN insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
Zion Williamson injury, 3 weeks until there is a reevaluation of it. But I think the expectation is Zion Williamson will be out at least a month plus. This is not a mild strain. And so this is a New Orleans team that is always going to err on the side of caution with Zion Williamson coming back from an injury, making sure he is back to 100%. So you don't have a recurrence of this. You've seen this New Orleans team without its 3 best players on the court together very often this season, still be at the very top of the Western Conference. And listen, they're hopeful they can get Brandon Ingram back sooner than later, certainly before they're going to get Zion Williamson back. But I think at least a month here on Zion Williamson.
So with Zion being absent for at least the better part of the month, where do the Pelicans turn for offense? ESPN's Ramona Shelburne.
Najee Marshall has been a real find for them. He's a great playmaker. And when they've been without Zion and Brandon Ingram, Brandon's been out the last 18 games with that toe injury. They've been out it's only 5 games, but they're 4-1 without him. And Najee Marshall's a great playmaker. And there's also Trey Murphy, 18 points a game in those 5 games, 65% from the field. He's a great shooter, but that playmaking and that offense, they can really lean on these young guys that they've found to replace Zion and Brandon Ingram. But they need to get B.I. back sooner rather than later.
Pelicans with their 5th straight win against the Rockets. Houston with a 5th straight loss. They are 1-10 in their last 11 games. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio to the NFL. And for most of the week, we have been awaiting news, any news out of Cincinnati. Of course, we've been hoping for progress. Wednesday, we did get a sliver of good news. The Bills saying Damar Hamlin has been showing signs of improvement. Hamlin's friend and business partner Jordan Rooney had heard a similar update.
We've got some positive steps in the right direction. So still has a long ways to go, but in terms of what the doctors want to see, it's positive.
I know you can't get too deep into that because they haven't even shared all of that, but what does positive steps, what does that look like from what they've told you?
To be honest, that's all I got. In terms of what they were looking for and hoping to see overnight, they got that. They got what they needed.
Bills saying Hamlin is expected to remain under intensive care as doctors continue their work. And as far as the continuation of work is concerned, there is the football part. The NFL has said there aren't any changes to the Week 18 schedule. Bills are scheduled to face the Patriots in Week 18. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
Spoke to somebody with the organization who said the team is dealing with 2 variables right now. One is the raw emotion associated with their friend and teammate Damar Hamlin, and that the team is largely in a better place today than it was early yesterday when there was just sort of widespread uncertainty. They've since gotten some updates that they feel like provide a little bit of hope and encouragement. But then the other side is they're trying to play a football game. Walk through today, injury report, and some of those normal variables that you see on an NFL Wednesday, only there will be no media access. But I'm told from somebody with the Bills that, hey, we are professionals. Even though we're hurting on the inside, we do have to prep for the game and show up on Sunday.
They've got New England on Sunday. What about the rest of the week? What are the plans for the rest of the week with the Bills?
Well, they're going to go through sort of the Wednesday, Friday practice procedure and try to keep it as normal of a week as possible. But I'm told that they're going to have support systems in place for players who just need to talk or need to vent or just, talk about what they're feeling with Damar Hamlin and his situation. So there'll be a lot of emotion here this week. We saw 2 different prayer vigils just outside of the stadium, people standing in the rain, 150 to 200 Bills fans outwardly speaking Damar Hamlin's name and the power of healing. So there's certainly a lot going on here. And really the focus is Damar Hamlin, then the New England Patriots. The Cincinnati Bengals game really is on the back burner here. I've talked to a few people who are skeptical that the game can even be replayed because there's just no easy way or clean way to do it based on the playoffs looming next week.
Bills and Patriots in Week 18. The Bengals have the Ravens. There's a lot on the line in terms of the standings this week, not to mention the lack of a conclusion to the game that was postponed on Monday, if that's the way it stays. Bengals coach Zach Taylor on Wednesday saying on Monday that game wasn't going to be finished.
I won't disclose any of the private conversations Sean and I had except for this. When I got over there, the first thing he said was, I need to be at the hospital tomorrow, and I shouldn't be coaching this game. That, to me, provides all the clarity because there was no unprecedented is the word that gets thrown out a lot about this situation because that's what it is. But in that moment, he really showed who he was, that all his focus was just on Damar and being there for him, being there for his family at the hospital. And at that point, I think everything trended in the direction it needed to trend, and the right decisions were made there.
And Damar Hamlin still in ICU, showing signs of improvement, but still in critical condition. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow.
Oh, man, a lot of emotions. Obviously very, very scary. Not a lot of clarity, a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff going around. And so it was a very emotional 48 hours. That's not a lot of words you can say about what happened.
Bengals getting back to work on Wednesday. Burrow saying, I don't know if they'll be making up the game against the Bills, but he acknowledges the reality that is this week.
Unfortunate as it is, we got a game to play on Sunday. And so as unusual as this week has been, it's business as usual from a football standpoint, unfortunately. And that's not, I don't even really know what to say about it because it's such a scary, emotional time. And, guys still have a football game to play on Sunday. And it's our job to get out there and execute and play the game the way that we need to play it to go and win. It is what it is, but that's, we've had discussions as a team about what happened and about, where we're at going forward, and that's where we're at.
Burrow saying they have not been asked by the NFL if they want to play this weekend. He says playing will be tough, but he wants to play. The NFL at this point has not announced a decision on what to do with the Bills-Bengals matchup, but it did postpone the game Monday. And also this week informed teams of expanded mental health resources that are available. There's, of course, been much more of a focus on mental health considerations in sports recently. And that aspect was evident from Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel Wednesday.
With the team, the challenge today, when I've seen them for the first time since it occurred, is, to pretend that I know what's going on in their heads. So, we started out with a team meeting to address this specific thing and to set the standard that, like, hey, listen, there's no way that you should feel. How you feel is how you feel, and it can affect people in totally different ways. But, don't be there to support each other because you don't know how your teammates are feeling.
The Week 18 schedule is looming this weekend. It gets underway on Saturday with the matchup between the Chiefs and the Raiders, Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
We go out there every week, and I'm not just saying we take it for granted, but you go out there and you play a game that you love and you just enjoy it. You don't think about things like that happening. And whenever something like this happens, I think it impacts everybody. I mean, obviously, my prayers are with DeMar, his family, on the Buffalo Bills, the Bengals, everyone that was in attendance at that game. But I mean, it sent chills through my body when I was watching it, and all I did was just sit there and pray for him, because that's all you can do when you feel like you can't help. I've been watching updates just like everybody and trying to make sure that first off that DeMar is healthy and he can get back, because at the end of the day, we're people, we're not just players, and I think everybody understands that even more now.
The Chiefs now prepping for their matchup against the Raiders in Las Vegas. The first half of the doubleheader on ABC and ESPN Plus. The back end of the doubleheader, the Titans and Jaguars in Jacksonville on Saturday. Straight ahead, the end of a career coming up on Monday. That's next. Sports Center All Night continues at ESPN Radio.
Coming up Thursday, which NFC quarterback heading into the playoffs do you trust least? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Sports Center All Night.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Oh, want better visibility to get you through the winter? A new pair of premium wipers can help. Right now, you can earn a $10 bonus reward when you buy a pair of Rain X Quantum Wiper Blades. See better and stay safe on the road all winter long. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Offer available to AutoZone Rewards members.
Are you ready? Stock up and save big now, store-wide at the Lowe's Truckload Event. For a limited time, save up to 50% on select tools and accessories from the brands you trust. And buy a DeWalt 12-inch dual-bevel miter saw and get an adjustable stand for free. Plus, get deals on appliances, bath, and more. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com to shop the Truckload Event today. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Valid 12/29 through 1/11.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
My take was not a referendum on whether Zach Wilson is good or not. He's bad. I mean, he is scarily bad. Part of the issue is the people developing him have not done a good job. Most of the blame goes on him. The kid is regressing at warp speed, and I don't think they do things that play to his strengths. There are questions. I just don't think they are limited to the quarterback.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on 98.7 ESPN.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/
to know that you're facing challenges, but not be ready to face them. Sleep doesn't come easy, and when it comes, it doesn't last long. You're tired all the time. I didn't reach out for that help, but thank God my wife did. She got me registered for Wounded Warrior Project. Talking to somebody that would listen to me and understood my story helped me realize that it was time to change. There's a new fight. There's a new mission, and that's something I am eternally grateful for.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon.
Friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
LA's mega sports station.
In the morning.
LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN.
Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
All guests are on the Dr. Pepper call-in line. Sports Center All Night presented by Dr. Pepper. In college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Coming up on Monday, the final college football game of the season. Number 3 TCU, top-ranked Georgia. They'll meet in the national championship, and that game will be the final game, finally, that we see Stetson Bennett in college. ESPN's Mark Schlabach.
It might seem like Stetson Bennett has been playing at Georgia forever, and the former walk-on has been here for parts of 6 years. Against TCU on Monday night in the College Football Playoff National Championship, he'll play his final college game. He knows how he wants to be remembered.
Just tough, dude, because I think I'm pretty damn tough. And that's a good one for people to say about you. So, yeah, I'll take tough.
As the end nears, Stetson is taking a few moments to reflect on his remarkable journey.
I'm proud of the way that I've handled things, and I'm not proud of the way that I've handled some things. You know, people get caught up in the end so much, but like the good Lord, I screwed a lot of things up, you know, and like now things are going good. Like people don't see that, but I still remember when I, you know, didn't do things right and wasn't ready, and when I wasn't that great at football and I didn't really know what was going on, and so it's not a one-man team sport, right? It's not like, you know, maybe if I had went out there and won 5 Wimbledons, then I'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty dope, you know. But I don't know. Just every day I just did what made sense to do that day. And then, you know, keep stacking days, and now we're here.
Georgia will not only try to become the first team in the CFP era to win back-to-back national championships, Bennett will try to become only the 8th quarterback to lead his team to consecutive national titles since 1947. And he would be the first one to do it after starting his career as a walk-on.
As for TCU, they, of course, knocked off Michigan in the national semifinals and continue this improbable run. ESPN's Chris Budden.
Sonny Dykes took over this team 13 months ago, and I asked him, what did he see back then that would lead him to believe that this was possible? And he said, Chris, quite frankly, we didn't know what we had, but maybe that's a good thing because we didn't know what the ceiling would be for this team. And he's continued to use the phrase, we're building this plane as we fly it. But if you were to ask him or any player on this team, what's the one thing behind the scenes that's made this possible? And they'll tell you it's strength and conditioning coach Kaz Kazadi, who came over with Sonny from SMU. He has given this team a sense of confidence, and he's way more than a strength and conditioning coach. He's a mentor. He's a life coach. He's a father-like figure, and he's put them through some incredibly difficult workouts and life lessons that when you have that confidence, it plays out on the field. Sonny Dykes even said in his press conference yesterday, the things that they've been through, it's allowed them to build this bond and confidence that maybe no one else has. And while everyone else thinks they're the underdog, they don't view them themselves.
Can we get a status update on TCU's leading rusher and running back, Kendre Miller?
Yeah, right now, Kendre Miller is questionable. He left that game against Michigan with a knee injury. He'll likely be a game-time decision. But senior running back Amari DeMarcado is practicing as if he's going to be the starter. He racked up 150 yards in the Fiesta Bowl. We'll find out more throughout the week.
TCU in Georgia Monday. You'll hear it here on ESPN Radio. You have your choice for viewing the ESPN MegaCast in place. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. Speaking of TCU, a conference matchup on the hardwood Wednesday facing Baylor. TCU rallies from a double-digit deficit on the road, holding a slim 1-point lead in the closing seconds on ESPN2. Baylor with the ball.
They trailed by as many as 17, but now lead by 1. You got to watch where Flagler is. Flagler is away from the ball. So if you're TCU, there is a high likelihood he's coming to the ball. And let's see if they switch it. Inbounds. George has it. 2 seconds. He's got the open look. It's blocked by Cork. And the Horned Frogs win it on the road. Xavier Cork came out of nowhere.
And TCU wins at 88-87, as you heard, trailing by as many as 17. Largest road comeback over the last 10 seasons. TCU, 11-game win streak, their longest since winning a dozen, 12 straight in the 2017-28 season. For Baylor, that 17-point blown lead tied for its largest over the last 10 seasons. Number 4, Connecticut, last time out, suffered its first loss of the season Wednesday, facing unranked Providence.
Ed says that's enough. Here comes Devin Carter. He's going to get it across the mid-floor line with 12 seconds left. 73-61. Providence is going to win for the 8th straight time this year, and they're going to knock off their second top 25. And the team ranked 4th in the country in the Associated Press poll. It's over. Providence 73. 4th-ranked UConn 61.
Buddy John Rook from Learfield as Providence beats number 4 UConn. 12-point win, second largest against a top 5 opponent in team history. UConn back-to-back losses after the 14-0 start. Another massive deal in baseball. That's next. It's ESPN Radio.
This can't ruin my day. Do you know what I've lived through as a fan of this franchise?
He's back on your radio. Greeny.
I've seen the worst things that can possibly happen. This isn't even close to that.
Greeny. Weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
Taken by LeBron. LeBron ahead to Schroeder.
Every moment of the Lakers happens here.
Schroeder to LeBron. Reverse on an alley-oop. Turn around and throw it in reverse. He reverse dunked off an alley-oop pass.
The LeBron Show just can't be stopped.
Dunk of the year by LeBron.
The home of LeBron James and the Lakers is right here.
710 ESPN.
And this place is buzzing.
The Dominique Foxworth Show.
I believe that most quarterbacks and probably more players are failed than the players themselves not being good. It's the coaches and the situation failing them. I was just thinking that we should start the Shanahan test or the Andy Reid test. When we start talking about players stink or players are bust, especially offensive players, just ask yourself, what would he look like in San Francisco or in Kansas City?
Check out the Dominique Foxworth Show anywhere you get your podcast.
Attention. Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit yourfreetest.net to register now. That's yourfreetest.net to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to yourfreetest.net. Medicare insured or not eligible.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life. The bills, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You join because you are not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the sheep sleep tonight. Oh, in the jungle, the quiet jungle, the sheep sleep tonight.
It just isn't the same without the lion. Join the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance today. Visit sdzwa.org.
Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Help us fight youth homelessness. Go to covenanthouse.org.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max in the morning on LA's mega sports station. LA Sports Talk all day long.
710 ESPN.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Would you turn in one of your best friends? That's straight ahead. Sports Center All Night presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center All Night.
NFL teams returning to work on Wednesday, beginning preparations for Week 18. The Nets' 12-game win streak comes to an end with their loss to Chicago on Wednesday. And baseball has now seen another big contract at Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. Third baseman Rafael Devers and the Red Sox finalizing an 11-year, $331 million contract extension. It's a deal that will keep the 26-year-old from reaching free agency this year. It's the longest and largest guarantee ever given by the franchise, ESPN's June Lee.
Rafael Devers will be the face of the Red Sox for the next 11 years. The Red Sox and Devers came to a contract extension agreement today that will make him the highest paid player in franchise history. Devers is just 26 years old, which is why the franchise felt comfortable giving him such a long-term contract that will take him to his age 37 season. For Chaim Bloom and the front office, Devers represents a focal centerpiece in building the roster for the next decade and a foundational building block in setting the culture of the locker room and also having a connection to the team's past. The team felt a lot of pressure over the course of the last couple of weeks after Xander Bogaerts departed for the San Diego Padres, and that added on to the backlash that started when Mookie Betts was traded at the beginning of Bloom's tenure. In Devers, they have a guy who is homegrown, a talent that has blossomed at Fenway Park in front of Red Sox fans, and now Devers will represent the leader of the team, both on the field and off the field, and on top of that is someone the Red Sox feel is going to be a massive part in the team's success moving forward.
The agreement, largest ever for a third baseman, but it's been a tough winter for the Red Sox. As you heard, lost Xander Bogaerts, their longtime shortstop, to San Diego in free agency nearly 3 years after trading Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. As we know, Week 18 is here, but there's still a big question mark regarding Week 17. The Bills and Bengals were a key matchup in Week 17, the Monday night game that was postponed when Damar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest on the field. The team says he's been showing signs of improvement, but does remain in intensive care. Meanwhile, Week 18 is on tap here. But as for that postponed game, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow.
We have not been asked that. I'm sure if you polled the locker room, there'd be mixed votes on that. Personally, I think playing is going to be tough. But there's people that want to play too, and there's people that don't. And so personally, I probably want to play. I think getting back to as normal as you can, as fast as you can, is personally how I deal with these kind of things. But like I said, everybody has a different way of dealing with it. I think that would be tough, just scheduling wise. I think whatever Buffalo would want to do would be what we would want to do as well. We're behind them 100% and support them in whatever they would decide to do going forward.
And as for the feelings in Buffalo, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
Talking with Bills people, they're a little bit skeptical right now that this game could be made up because they're all in on New England right now. They're professionals. Even though they're hurting from their teammate, they have to prepare for the New England Patriots on Sunday. That's the schedule. So they're really not thinking about the Bengals, and there's no clean way to do it. I talked to a league source who deals with scheduling matters who said that Commissioner Roger Goodell will likely exhaust all options. Maybe they could push the wild card games back a few days or push the whole playoffs back a week leading into the bye week of the Super Bowl. But that is a tall task. So right now there's not really a lot of momentum for a shift in the game.
So how do we see the NFL handling the AFC playoff seedings? ESPN's Adam Schefter.
You've got a situation where the NFL has had 2 years where we can remember postponed games. The 9/11 year, where they pushed things back a week, and the year of the pandemic, where there were 15 different games that were postponed and reschedule. In this particular case, I actually spoke to somebody yesterday that said the game from Monday night has bad mojo, that the league, one person in the league would like to just see it go away altogether. Now, people say that that's unfair. Well, life isn't fair, as we saw on Monday night, and that may just be the way it is. It counts as a no contest, and you go on from there. The other scenario would be that there is a week in which the Pro Bowl skills competition is scheduled. So if the NFL needed to find a cushion in the schedule to push things back 1 week, if that's what it ultimately decided, that would be the week it would have to play around with. It could have obviously opted to delay the games this week, which it did not do. The games for this upcoming week are scheduled to go on as planned. So the league can go through these scenarios knowing that it's got that 1 week buffer that it could always flex to if it needs to. It's also possible that the league will just ultimately decide we're just going to continue to go right on here and not play that game. And the way it shakes out is the way it shakes out. And if the Bengals win the AFC North because they didn't play on Monday night, or the Bills can't get home field advantage because they didn't have that extra game, so be it. You have 16 games to prove your worth and your value, and you got done what you got done during that time period. But these are the decisions the league can and will make and doesn't have to make right now and hasn't. Just some basic discussions, but the league will see how everything's proceeding first and foremost with Damar Hamlin, then this week, and make decisions before we hear if that game will wind up being resumed.
Certainly a lot of options on the table. As Jeremy Fowler had noted, there's no clean way to do it. Somebody's going to be upset if the game is replayed. Someone else is going to be upset if the game is not replayed, and it makes a change in the standings in the AFC. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. Not playing that Bills-Bengals matchup may make sense on the surface, but there is a lot more to consider. Earlier on ESPN Radio, our Jason Fitz.
The hard part about this is if you're telling everybody, hey, we're not playing the game, the human portion of this, if you go to the players and say, sorry, we're just not playing the game, I think there's a lot of people that look at it and say, I get it. But you're absolutely right. The trickle-down effect, not even just for these teams, but if you're the Ravens, I mean, the Ravens should have something to play for. So if you're Baltimore, you're sitting there saying, I understand how awful all of this is, but I still want to get that game played, you know? And so there's this level for me, Harry, where if you've put in the sacrifice that everybody puts into play every single week, you want to have the opportunity to control your own destiny. So the simple answer for so many people is just to say, well, cancel the game. We're not going to play it. That creates so many layers of complexity. Also, that doesn't even factor in using the Ravens as an example right now. The Ravens, it might be an outside shot, but they got a shot at winning their division, right? So if that game is played. So if you're the Ravens, you're sitting there saying playoff bonuses go out the window. You're talking about livelihoods that change. Even going all the way into next year, you'll be talking about draft status that is impacted by win percentages where two teams played one less game. Like the trickle-down impact of this, all stuff that doesn't matter. I mean, I understand that because we are talking about something far bigger than football doesn't matter. But when we have the football conversation, it is still fair to have full context around that entire conversation. The trickle-down effects of not playing this game, the human being in me nods my head and says, wow, that makes total sense. Like the other side of it, the football person in me looks at it and says, well, my God, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Damar Hamlin is the most important thing right now, and we will continue to pray that he's going to make it through and be okay. Now, when we have the football talk, it's something that you have to bring up because you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback, they have hosted the AFC Championship game every single year. You don't think the Kansas City Chiefs would love to have that number one seed? You don't think the Cincinnati Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl last year and had to play every game on the road, would love the number one seed? You don't think the Buffalo Bills, who haven't won a playoff game since Josh Allen has been their quarterback, away from home wouldn't love the number one seed? I think all three of those teams would love it. You don't think the Baltimore Ravens would love to win the AFC North if they had an opportunity to do that? Yes, all those things are true. So when I look at the National Football League and I look at Roger Goodell and the NFL and Troy Vincent, however you want to figure it out, try to figure it out so this game can get played and we can figure out the logistics of it after that.
Harry Douglas, Jason Fitz, Fitz and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern here on ESPN Radio. SportsCenter all night. We do have the Week 18 schedule coming up, regardless of what happens down the line with the Week 17 matchup between the Bills and the Bengals. Week 18 will wrap up Sunday night, Lions and Packers. Is it Aaron Rodgers' final home game?
I'm going to take some time after the season. I got a lot of great memories here at Lambeau, and hopefully can add another one on Sunday.
Do you expect that thought at all to go through your mind on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Just because you don't know what the future holds. But when I think about that, it's nothing but gratitude. Not remorse or sadness, just gratitude for the time that I've been here, the amazing memories that I've had on this field. I've had a lot of great moments. But, I'm still undecided. We're all undecided about the future. We're just going to enjoy Sunday night and hopefully have some more to play for.
And if the Packers do beat the Lions, they are into the playoffs. Won't get a home game, but Aaron Rodgers would take the Packers into the postseason, something we certainly didn't expect earlier in the season when Green Bay was struggling, but it's been quite a turnaround. ESPN analyst Marcus Spears.
They've turned it around defensively, and I know this offense has been what they've been all season, but the passing connection with these wide receivers have improved. But defensively, the takeaways is the story of this turnaround. You think about going all the way back to the Dallas game. There was 2 interceptions against Dak Prescott. That was a close game. The 3 interceptions, obviously, Tua being concussed, but it was still 3 turnovers. Last week, we watched them against Minnesota turn the football over again. Kirk Cousins actually had trouble in coverage when Justin Jefferson was out of the game. So when you think about what they've been able to do from a defensive standpoint, in turn, it helps what you want to do offensively. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have been the bell cow for this offense. They are the reason that they were winning the 4 games that they won in the previous season. Aaron Rodgers, I got to give credit, though, man, because he told us I had the Green Bay Packers no shot at getting in the playoffs. And the reason was not because I didn't think they would improve. I didn't think all of the other teams would fall off the face of the earth like they have. But when you look at this team, defensively, if the Green Bay Packers can continue on this trend and this trajectory, and people get nervous about turnovers. They don't think that turnovers come in droves. I played in this league long enough. When you start getting them, it feels like it just starts happening. It opens up everything. So they're not only creating extra possessions for this offense that needed to get a kickstart. Now the rapport between Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, and we see what Aaron is starting to do with these young fellas. The running game is still prevalent. That is how Green Bay is going to manufacture yards offensively, but defensively is why this turnaround has happened.
Packers and Lions in the Sunday night game. Green Bay wins. Green Bay is in. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Back to hoops. Pistons and Warriors Wednesday coming down to the closing seconds.
1 second remaining in a tie game. Hayes gets it in. Sadiq fires. Sadiq Bey just hit it. He nailed it. Wow.
Sadiq Bey with 17 on the night, including the game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. Pistons beat the Warriors 122-119. 97 won the ticket. Klay Thompson, 30 points in the loss for Golden State, which is now 5-7 in games without Steph Curry this season. Lakers and Heat.
15 seconds to go. Schroeder goes into the backcourt. They throw it to Westbrook for a layup, and it's good. And he's fouled. Wow. That might do it. What a pass from Austin Reeves.
Lakers a 112-109 win over the Heat. Russell Westbrook finishes with 21 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds.
An incredible performance by you guys tonight. Shorthanded, you, Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, big games tonight. You were very vocal in those huddles. What was the message tonight to your teammates?
Compete. When our guys are down, we got a bunch of feisty young guys ready to compete, and tonight we competed our ass off, and big win for us. Excuse my language, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. 4 of the last 5 for you guys. Obviously, the West is tough, but it's close and bunched together. What does a win like this say about you guys and your squad?
It's a big win for us, man, especially coming off a long road trip. A big home win against a great team, and tonight we showed some grit. And I'm proud of our guys.
It's a little past 9:30 here Pacific time. What are the kids doing at home right now?
They better be asleep because they got school tomorrow. So hopefully they sleep. If not, that's going to be a problem, but hopefully they sleep.
Well, Russ, congratulations and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Man, same to you.
Westbrook with our George Sedano. First game that the Lakers win when Westbrook scores 20 points this season. They're now 1 LeBron James, Anthony Davis did not play. Timberwolves a 113-106 win over the Blazers, their fourth straight home win against Portland, dating back to March of 2021. Got a story that dates back even farther than that. Tattletales from your best friend. That's next. SportsCenter All Night continues at ESPN Radio.
Coming up Thursday, should Jalen Hurts suit up for the Eagles versus the Giants? And would it be a failure if the Eagles don't get the top seed in the NFC? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU. More SportsCenter All Night. Next.
What is going on, Laker fans? Alan Sliwa here. Want to introduce something brand new on our YouTube channel, ESPN LA. You got to get on there. You got to subscribe. Lakers Talk Daily. Monday through Friday, we're putting out Lakers content. We're reacting to games. So we're coming up with topics that we think Laker fans are interested in, and we're doing it Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, and it's all on ESPN LA. So get out on YouTube, get on our ESPN LA page, subscribe to the channel, and of course, we read off your comments, and we get topics specifically from you.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them, but I think in reality he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Once upon a time, our family had trouble with pests around our home. Did you know that stinging insects send tons of people to the hospital? And teeny ticks and mosquitoes can be all around the yard. Their bites can make people and their pets sick. Mice, rats, and roaches need food and water just like us. You do not want them to visit. They can spread disease and make it hard to breathe. I'm sure glad this story has a happy ending.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
I noticed that my central vision started to blur.
Figures that are usually straight started to distort to become wavy.
What are these little dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing?
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever?
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
SportsCenter All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
If you've coached a team, perhaps your kids, one of the big problems? Parents. We're taking you to Key, Jay, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern here on ESPN Radio SportsCenter All Night, presented by Progressive Insurance. We know the stories, the controversy in the discussions over the lineup for Team USA during the World Cup. There was speculation throughout about why Gio Reyna was not being played. After the tournament, word getting out that he wasn't playing because of his attitude. Coach Greg Berhalter noting that Reyna was nearly sent home. Berhalter, former Team USA player himself. So was Claudio Reyna, Gio's dad. He was a teammate of Berhalter. They're friends. Berhalter's wife, Claudio Reyna's wife. They're former teammates, roommates. close friends. Everybody's tight in this circle. Danielle Reyna, the wife of Claudio Reyna, mother of Gio, says she told U.S. Soccer sporting director Ernie Stewart about Berhalter's past domestic violence incident because she was frustrated with the situation involving her son's lack of playing time. Former U.S. men's national team member Taylor Twellman.
Perplexed, confused. Quite honestly, it's sad to me. I think in a nutshell, it tells you where U.S. soccer is in the state of U.S. soccer, the fact that we are talking about this, the fact that the Berhalters have to relive this in front of the public and in the public's eyes based on what reasoning? Because he didn't play his best friend's son. But the truth of the matter is, what are we really talking about here? These are best friends. These are families that grew up together. And we're talking about what? What? And that's where I don't understand how we have gotten to this point. You can disagree with everything that Greg Berhalter did as a manager, as a coach. I don't have any issue with that. But now we're on Outside the Lines. Now we're on ESPN. Now we're reporting that they felt blackmailed based on something that happened over 30 years ago when they were 18, that his now said wife of 25 plus years and 4 kids all have to relive. I don't know how we are at this point, and we're not talking about what happened on the field. We're not talking about that. What's the point of this? It is saddening to me. That's the one word I would use. It is extremely sad that we're at this point.
Berhalter's contract ended after the World Cup at the end of the year. His status now very much up in the air, as is Claudio Reyna's status in his positions in MLS. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. For Wednesday's Top Sounds, let's turn to Steve Lennox.
Number 5.
Jay Cavaliers hosting the suddenly cooled off Phoenix Suns. Game tied in the closing seconds of regulation. Here's how the Cavs went front for good with a call from WTAM Radio.
Mitchell now against Shamet. Mitchell in the lane to Mobley. Short shot. Good with 4 seconds to go.
Number 4 scores the bucket with 4 seconds to go and gives the Cavs a 90-88 lead.
Number 4.
Red Hot Brooklyn Nets looking to extend their win streak to 13 in a row. And Chicago Wednesday night Bulls, well, they had other plans. The call 670, the score.
Over the midcourt line, Levine, 15 on the clock, and this crowd loves it. They are on their feet after a tough loss at Cleveland. In fact, 2 devastating defeats to the Cavaliers. 1 here at the United Center, 1 in Cleveland. They have bounced back and answered the call tonight. A 24 violation on the Bulls, 11 seconds remaining, and the Bulls are about to snap a 12-game win streak by the Brooklyn Nets as Kyrie will walk it over the midcourt line, and this ball game is over. Bulls win! Bulls win! Bulls win. Let's dance. 121-112. Bulls.
Number 3.
Sixers home against the Pacers. Tobias Harris sending the game to overtime. Here's a call from 97.5, The Fanatic.
Forcing him to the right side. Here's Halliburton to the lane. He lost the ball. Sixers ahead of Maxey. Maxey in on Turner. Tries it. Scoop. No. Whistle. And a basket by Harris. Ties it. 120 all. 5 seconds to go. Halliburton with the ball. Indiana can take the lead. Buddy Hield with 1. He puts it in the air. No. Overtime. Maxey and Harris save the Sixers.
Number 2.
Warriors at home in San Francisco looking for a 6th straight win. Game tied at 119 against the Pistons. And it looked like Detroit and Golden State were heading to overtime. Sadiq Bey said, nope, I'll just end it right here. The call 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit.
1 second remaining in a tie game. Hayes gets it in. Sadiq fires. Sadiq Bey just hit it. He nailed it. Wow.
Number 1.
And we close, Jay, with the Bucks and Raptors in Toronto. Looked like the Bucks were going to cruise to the victory, but the Raptors rallied late in the fourth quarter to force OT. And in overtime, Giannis was in a giving mood. The call from WTMJ Radio in Milwaukee.
Fans raise the volume. Giannis drifts to his right. He's being pressured on the outside by Anunoby. Spins into a crowd, passes to the corner. Catch and shoot three for the lead. Grayson Allen sticks it with a cold-blooded three with the nerve of a cat burglar.
That bucket off an assist from Giannis, who had a triple-double. Things haven't been great for the Jets in New York. Coach Robert Saleh, though, says he's sticking with Zach Wilson.
We're going to grind with him. We are. And through hell or high water, we're going to figure out how to get him to where we know he can be.
Wants the 23-year-old to clear his head, so his off-season advice?
Go read a book, go do something.
And no, not the playbook. He says he needs to get away from the game and reset. That'll do it for SportsCenter All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Thursday, January 5th. Born on this date in 1932, the late Chuck Noll, Hall of Famer, Steelers coach. Steelers technically still in the playoff picture, but they do need help. Much more football coming up this morning with Key, Jay, and Max. They're next. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Taken by LeBron. LeBron ahead to Schroeder.
Every moment of the Lakers happens here.
Schroeder to LeBron. Reverse on an alley-oop. Turn around and throw it in reverse. He reverse dunked off an alley-oop pass.
The LeBron Show just can't be stopped.
Dunk of the year by LeBron.
The home of LeBron James and the Lakers is right here.
710 ESPN.
And this place is buzzing.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A Jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
LA's morning show is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Oh, you guys get me in the mood for turkey now. Already. You see a wild turkey around Thanksgiving, you're like, you look delicious.
Get your Monday morning started
with Key alongside J. Will and Max.
KJM on 710.
You are never too old for a family. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is dedicated to finding forever families for children who have been waiting in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
KSPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Coley Harvey, ESPN national NFL reporter.
From the Bills, Damar Hamlin is still in critical condition.
Damar Hamlin is the most important thing right now, and we will continue to pray that he's going to make it through and be okay. Now, when we have the football talk, it's something that you have to bring up. When I look at the National Football League, I look at Roger Goodell and the NFL and Troy Vincent, however you want to figure it out, try to figure it out so this game can get played and we can figure out the logistics of it after that.
The trickle-down effects of not playing this game. The human being in me nods my head and says, wow, that makes total sense. The football person in me looks at it and says, well, my God, that doesn't make any sense at all. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPNU. You can click more on the lower right-hand corner of the app and scroll down to live radio. We are right there. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Good morning, T. Good morning, Jay.
It's good morning, Darren Maxer.
So it's still weird, like, how do you start? We're a morning show. We're usually in a good mood first thing in the morning, and we're excited to talk about sports. The Damar Hamlin situation kind of hovers over everything, and, I'm hesitant to be, hey, good morning and everything, because it's a serious situation, although we are getting, in spite of the fact that we are getting good news trickling out, little drip by drip, trickling out, and we just hope it keeps coming. He remains hospitalized and in critical condition. The Bills safety, Damar Hamlin, who had cardiac arrest on the field after tackling T. Higgins, apparently from a shot he took in the chest at just the wrong time. But he showed, quote, signs of improvement that were observed Tuesday and overnight into Wednesday, according to the team. The Bills said Wednesday in a statement that Hamlin is, quote, expected to remain under intensive care as his health team continues to monitor and treat him. So, guys, that's like a little trickle of good news, right? And hopefully that trickle just keeps coming like that, more little bits of good news. Troy Vincent, NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations, on an NFL conference call, had this to say about the Bills' situation because, of course, people are wondering, naturally at a certain point, are the Bills going to play Sunday? And this is what he had to say.
What my conversations with Coach, and they have 100% been around how's he doing, and that was as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. My last discussion with Coach McDermott. I have not had any discussions outside of how his mental health is of himself and how are the players.
So here's the question, guys. We are now to the point. It's Thursday, right? We are now to the point where it's not about not focusing on Damar Hamlin's health, but the question does become, especially, by the way, for the NFL, which is they're running a business, right? Mm-hmm. And here they have, and there's a schedule and the playoffs coming up and thousands of people involved and employed by the league. Should the Bills play Sunday? Should they even play Sunday?
I was going to say, Max, you often talk about businesses are amoral, right? They do what's in the best interest of the actual business.
Yeah, not good or bad.
All the time,
they're
right?
in the business of making money, yeah.
But as a team of individuals, a team of brotherhood, I'm going to expect them to do what's in their morally best interest, which should be whatever they want to do is the right thing for them to do. It's not going to be potentially in the best interests of the business of football, but in the best interest of their mental health. If they decide to play, I'm going to rock with it as a fan on the outside of this team. If they decide not to play, I'm going to rock with it. I think that's the only way you can actually look at the situation from the Bills' perspective. As a fan, I want them to do what they feel is the right thing for them to do.
Well, I think that they are going to do whatever that right thing is. Like I said yesterday, they're probably going to play. I mean, we're at Thursday, okay? The New England Patriots are involved in this situation too. On top of that, you can see where it's going as far as football goes. They had a light walkthrough yesterday. They're kind of conducting football business to a degree as much as they can as normal. And now you get into today and you continue to, like Max said, you get the small little drippings